You know that feeling when you're writing a report and then replying to 3 different text threads and maybe half listening to a Zoom meeting? You feel like you're totally crushing it.
Right, you feel super productive.
Exactly. But in reality, you're actually just an octopus on roller skates, basically flailing down the hallway. You think you're going fast, but by 3 p.m., you're just exhausted, bruised, and you haven't actually finished a single thing. Okay, let's unpack this.
We really need to, because that specific kind of exhaustion isn't just regular burnout. I mean, it's a physiological toll. And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive into Dr. Phang Car's book, MINDFULGym now.
Yeah, we want to look at the biological reality of all this busy work you do and a highly specific mindfulness technique to actually stop it.
And the book really doesn't hold back at all. It points out that this whole flailing octopus routine isn't just inefficient, it's a literal thief.
A thief.
Yeah, it's actively robbing you of 5 specific things: your time, your energy, your presence, your accuracy, and your calmness.
All 5 of them.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is the actual mechanics of that theft, because we call it multitasking, but biologically, true multitasking is a complete myth.
Wait, really? A myth?
Totally. The human brain just physically cannot process 2 complex tasks simultaneously. Instead, it rapidly task switches.
Ah, so it's just jumping back and forth.
Right. It forcefully shuts down one cognitive network, reorients to a whole new context, and then has to boot up another one.
So every time I just look away from that report to check a text message, I'm basically forcing my brain to do a hard reboot.
Exactly. It's called a task switching cost. You burn massive amounts of mental glucose just reestablishing where you even were.
That sounds incredibly exhausting.
It is. The book actually highlights this example of a house officer in a hospital. They're trying to clerk a patient, review blood results, answer senior's call, and write a referral, all within literally minutes.
Oh man, that is high stress.
Very. And when a brain pays that restart cost during safety-critical work, well, the risk of dangerous errors just skyrockets. Your mind becomes entirely fragmented.
I mean, I get the theory, but let's be real for a second. If my inbox is just exploding and my boss is demanding an update, isn't single tasking just a luxury that's going to get me fired?
I hear that a lot.
Like, it feels like slowing down just isn't an option for most people.
Sure, that raises a really important question. But it stems from our biggest misconception about productivity. Because single tasking actually isn't slower.
It's not.
No. Because you completely eliminate that mental restart cost, focusing on one thing is actually the fastest way to work with absolute clarity.
Okay, that makes sense. So if task switching causes all those dangerous errors, the real question is how we stop the brain from constantly seeking out the next distraction.
Exactly. Which brings us to the after state, right? The solution. The book suggests we don't necessarily need to change our workload, we just need a better anchor.
Right, the mindful PDF framework. So we're basically borrowing a corporate acronym for a psychological boundary.
Pretty much. It stands for prioritize, delegate or divide, and focus.
I like that.
Yeah, by pausing to prioritize and divide, you're essentially preloading your brain's working memory. You remove the ambiguity of what to do next.
Which eliminates the friction of starting. You know, it reminds me of that classic jar of life story.
Right, with the rocks in the sand.
Exactly. Like, if you fill your jar with sand first, so the random emails, the tiny texts, the administrative clutter, you have literally no room left for the big rocks.
For critical projects.
Right. So Mindful PDF basically forces you to identify the big rocks first.
And then focus on them one at a time. Which brings us to the final mechanism the book talks about, which is NOW.
NOW.
Yeah, so when you start working on that big rock, you gently label the activity. You just silently say to yourself, now checking, or now prescribing.
Oh, okay. So what does this all mean? It's almost like putting a mental pin on a map. Like, you are here.
That's a great way to put it.
But how does just saying a single word actually keep you focused?
Well, that mental pin interrupts the brain's anxiety loop. When you verbally label the present action, you actually engage the prefrontal cortex.
The logical part of the brain.
Exactly. Which effectively tells your amygdala to just stop panicking about the 10 other things you haven't done yet.
Oh, wow. So it keeps the mind from running ahead of the body.
Precisely.
That makes total sense. You're physically anchoring your attention. And you really don't have to be a doctor dodging hospital alarms to use this.
Not at all.
Whether you're managing a corporate team or just wrestling with your daily inbox, dropping that roller skating octopus routine for Mindful PDF actively protects your mental bandwidth.
Right. If we connect this to the bigger picture, you're essentially taking back control of your own cognitive resources.
So here's a final thought for you to ponder. If you successfully stop task switching, and you actually reclaim all that stolen mental energy, what will you do with the quiet, focused space you've just created in your own mind?
That is the real question.
Take off the roller skates and find out.